Hollywood likes to sort of devalue black artists and black folk, because you get super talented people at a discounted rate.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about just following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. Oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you?
Shabuzi. They didn't turn Shabuzi to Shabute.
Great, man.
What are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Hey, Shabuzi.
Real deal is we don't own any platform the way we should. There's a few black-owned platforms, but we don't have a lot of outlets. We don't have as many. So we are not sort of governing over these entities or these corporations.
What if Hollywood's brightest careers depended not on talent charts or box office math, but on a private toll quietly collected behind soundproof studio doors? One moment of surrender that decides whether an actor becomes a legend or vanishes without explanation. That question isn't just late-night speculation. It haunts anyone who remembers the 90s rise of a Chicago prodigy named Larenz Tate. He was everywhere. Magazine covers, film trailers, red carpet roll calls, and then, almost overnight, he was gone. No mugshot, no rehab confession, no public meltdown, just silence. If you crave unfiltered stories the trades won't print, smash the like button right now and hit subscribe, because today we're following the breadcrumbs that lead from Tate's meteoric ascent to the hidden forces that tried and failed to keep him out of sight. Larenz Tate's rocket launch felt like destiny. In 1993, he exploded onto screens in Menace II Society, turning the volatile O-Dog into a cultural warning shot so authentic, audiences half expected to see him on the evening news. 2 years later, he transformed into a wounded Vietnam vet in Dead Presidents, carrying grief and fury in equal measure. By 1997, he glided across Love Jones as Darius, the smooth-talking poet who convinced a generation that romance could be intellectual and electric at the same time. 3 roles, 3 completely different energies, 1 unmistakable verdict. The camera didn't just love Tate, it depended on him. That kind of range was no accident. Long before Hollywood noticed, Larenz and his brothers were memorizing lines in community theater basements on Chicago's South Side. Their parents hauled them to auditions after school, drilled the importance of reading every clause in a contract, and insisted that a signed deal is only the beginning of the work. Teenage Tate questioned directors about character motivation, lighting choices, and lens focal length, detail-obsessed in ways most kids reserve for video game cheat codes. That curiosity made him magnetic on set. Crew members from Dead Presidents recall him lingering after wraps, studying camera angles while electricians broke down rigs. He was, by all accounts, a student of the entire machine, not just the spotlight. Veteran cinematographer Lisa Rinsler once revealed that Tate instinctively altered his body language to match the desaturated palette in Dead Presidents, making his performance blend visually with the war-torn color scheme. That level of self-editing is catnip to directors. It signals an actor who thinks like a storyteller, not a prop. Industry insiders whispered that Tate might become the first black leading man since Sidney Poitier to command prestige, box office pull, and mainstream adoration in equal measure. Then the whisper changed. Rumors said he had turned down a 7-figure comedy that required him to spend half the film in drag. On paper, it sounded harmless, a goofy undercover gag. Tate reportedly balked, arguing the joke relied on emasculating a black man for laughs instead of building real character. The deal evaporated, and so, it seemed, did the momentum. Enter comedian Cat Williams, Hollywood's unofficial lie detector test. Starting in the mid-2000s, he teased a theory about a humiliation ritual for black entertainers. Put on the dress, act the fool, or otherwise surrender dignity on film, and the big doors swing wide. Refuse, and they quietly lock. Williams called it a dress rehearsal for control, footage that could be replayed forever if the star later tried to rebel. Studio spokespeople rolled their eyes, but fans kept comparing timelines. They saw Martin Lawrence become a franchise after Big Mama's House, house. Tyler Perry build an empire around Medea. Even Wesley Snipes slip into sequence for Tu Wong Fu. Was it coincidence or correlation? When Tate said no to his own drag offer, the phone somehow stopped ringing. Skeptics point out that plenty of white actors, from Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie to Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire, cross-dressed with zero dark side attached. True, but zoom in, their careers spiked upward, while several black peers found the dress becoming a permanent calling card. The pattern looked less like equal opportunity comedy and more like a gatekeeping test disguised as a joke. Tate, unmoved, kept declining scripts that asked him to clown his own identity. Those no's stacked up in casting databases, and soon trade blogs dubbed his slowdown a cold streak, misprinting his name as Larenz for good measure. He answered by pivoting to cable dramas like Rescue Me, where his scene-stealing arcs reminded producers he was still lethal on camera. Money only amplified the tension. Pay stubs revealed a glaring gap. White leads with one hit commanded 8 figures and back-end points, while black leads with 2 hits settled for scale plus a handshake. Taraji P. Henson later received 2% of Brad Pitt's salary on the same film. Monique was offered a fraction of Amy Schumer's stand-up fee. Viola Davis fought to prove she was more than the black Meryl Streep. Tate's agents pushed him to take whatever scraps appeared, but he dug in. He launched group chats with peers, traded notes on residuals, and noticed the numbers rarely made sense. A streaming platform offered one black actor 1/10 of a white co-star's payday, despite identical screen time. The gatekeepers thrived on secrecy. Tate weaponized transparency. Refusing the game took a mental toll. Interviewers implied the Vanishing Act signaled laziness. Fan blogs speculated about secret arrests. Depression lurked in those shadows. Tate credits his wife Thomasina with anchoring him. She reminded him that legacy isn't a race, it's a relay. Together, they mapped a course around the barricades. He founded Tate Brothers Entertainment with siblings Lahmard and Laren, a boutique production house chasing stories Hollywood ignored. Their first feature, Business Ethics, positioned Tate as a morally gray hedge fund hotshot. Limited theatrical release, festival buzz, critical praise, proof that audiences will follow authenticity, not just studio logos. Then came the breakout detour no spreadsheet predicted. In 2017, rapper turned mogul Curtis 50 Cent Jackson called with a pitch for power. A slick councilman named Rashad Tate who slithers through New York politics with a grin that hints at daggers. The part wasn't huge on paper, but Larenz scented oxygen. He poured layers into Rashad. Ambition polished by charm, idealism eroded by necessity, menace barely contained by protocol. Fan forums erupted. Hashtags trended every time Rashad delivered a backroom monologue. Showrunner Courtney Kemp promoted him to series regular, then built a spin-off around him. The so-called Cold Streak had become a masterclass in patience. Off-screen, his mission accelerated. He partnered with Nia Long for a seminar series dissecting black romance without trauma tropes, funded cinematography scholarships at HBCUs, and teamed with Tyler Perry Studios to donate PPE during the pandemic. Trade columns tried a new smear, selective to a fault, but set crews testified he arrived early, rewrote lines overnight, wrapped ahead of schedule. Algorithms tagged him budget sensitive, code for will ask for parody. He laughed. They brought calculators to a chess game. Meanwhile, the humiliation ritual debate refused to die. In a viral 2024 interview, Cat Williams growled, "Show me one black star who wore the dress and didn't level up." Journalists pounced for comment. Some actors denied any ritual, others sidestepped. Tate remained coy. "I play characters, not caricatures." Fans parsed that for weeks. Theories spawned sub-theories until the discussion reached beyond Hollywood, coloring music, sports, even politics. Aspiring rappers whispered about mandatory mascot costumes. College athletes swapped stories of hazing rituals that felt more symbolic than social. Tate's silence looked strategic, a refusal to feed a blaze designed to consume him. While gossip ping-ponged, the actor built infrastructure. He announced the XL Film Festival for Chicago's South Loop, an event requiring every selection to be directed by a person of color, shot on a sub-5 million budget, and free of recycled trauma. Tickets sold out in 48 hours. Hotel rates doubled. Food truck permits vanished. Variety called Tate the most dangerous kind of disruptor, one who no longer needs a gatekeeper's key. His shadow union work deepened. During the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, he marched outside Paramount with a sign reading "Fair bites, fair wages," explaining metadata royalties to indie videographers. Viral clips of his calm crash course reached millions. When the strike ended, he co-drafted a white paper on streaming residual reform, lending the same intellect he once reserved for monologues to spreadsheet equations and legal footnotes. Agents who labeled him difficult suddenly had to admit he was indispensable. Education remained his North Star. At Columbia College, Chicago, he guest lectures a cheekily titled class, Scene Stealers and Screen Stealers. He breaks down micro-expressions that turn a line into a memory, then challenges students to replicate the emotion with stories from their own neighborhoods. Many of those students later premiered shorts at XL Film Festival, proving the pipeline could flow without coast-based bottlenecks. Corporate America paid attention. A digital bank offered him a brand ambassador role. He agreed under one condition: half the ad buy must fund financial literacy workshops in underserved high schools. Commercials aired during NBA playoffs. Instead of glam cameos, viewers saw Tate in an empty gym telling teens why compound interest is its own superpower. The bank's app downloads spiked 9% over the next quarter, and Tate funneled his bonus into micro-grants for first-time screenwriters. By 2025, his production slate brimmed. 2 dramas, a limited series adaptation of a classic black sci-fi novel, and an Afrofuturist horror musical selected as XL's opening night film. Each project employed crews who once thought they had to leave Chicago or Atlanta to find steady work. Tate's creed became a bumper sticker mantra: if they won't seat you at the table, build the table, supply the chairs, and host the banquet. Mystique, ironically, became his best marketing tool. Scarcity fuels legends. When Netflix added Love Jones in 2021, Gen Z viewers who had never heard of Tate streamed it in droves, spiking view rates within 48 hours. Studios chalked it up to nostalgia cycles. Fans knew it was genuine discovery. Every resurfacing felt fresh because Tate hadn't oversaturated himself. Like Frank Ocean vanishing after Channel Orange, he let demand age like wine. Tabloids tested a new angle. Romance rumors, they linked him to assorted co-stars, some single, some definitely not. Tate's refusal to dignify gossip forced journalists to cover his craft instead. That brand of substance over scandal later attracted sponsorships from tech firms eager to ditch exploitative ads and lean into social impact. Integrity proved ridiculously bankable. Geography also played its part. By staying rooted in Chicago rather than relocating permanently to Los Angeles, Tate sacrificed proximity to studio power lunches, but deepened ties with Midwest theater titans like Steppenwolf and Goodman. Stage time between screen jobs sharpened his voice control and timing, skills that later powered Rashad Tate's blistering speeches. Meanwhile, his presence revitalized local arts funding. When he headlined a Steppenwolf fundraiser, ticket sales rescued 3 smaller stages from pandemic closure. Residuals remained a battlefield. Tate discovered his quarterly statements barely budged, even as dead presidents trended on multiple platforms. Realizing old contracts weren't built for infinite streaming loops, he teamed with entertainment lawyers to craft a template addendum. The clause pegs residuals to cumulative watch hours instead of outdated flat fees. Younger actors now slip that clause into deals as casually as lunch orders. Change by paperwork, not protest. Pay close attention to how the humiliation ritual narrative fits into this bigger picture. Maybe the dress is literal, maybe metaphorical. Any compromise that shrinks your spirit for somebody else's punchline. Either way, the warning stands. Know the cost before you cash the check. Tate counted his cost early and chose patience over instant shine. The hangover lasted years, but the payoff tastes sweeter now than any quick buzz could have. Gatekeepers lose their monopoly the moment creators own distribution. The internet kicked that door. Algorithmic secrecy smashed the hinges. And Larenz Tate walked through wearing the same integrity he started with. His story proves that talent plus patience beats hype every single time. And that scarcity, when earned, can become priceless equity. So where do you land on all this? Is the humiliation ritual a documented ladder rung, or a viral myth that fills gaps in Hollywood's randomness? Was Larenz Tate sidelined by secret ceremonies, by ruthless economics, or by the simple audacity of saying no too many times? Scroll down and let your perspective rip in the comments. I read every insight, and your viewpoints guide the next deep dive. Before you bounce to your next binge, smash that subscribe button like it owes you royalties. Tap the bell so the algorithm delivers our future exposés straight to your screen, and share this video with anyone who still believes talent alone guarantees a smooth ride in Hollywood. The truth, as you can see, is messier, tougher, and far more inspiring. Stay curious, stay critical, and until next time, keep your integrity louder than the noise.